Right, big breaking news this afternoon and confirmation of news we were expecting that Enzo Maresca will take over from Pep Guardiola at Manchester City, and we can cross to Ben now. Ben, you've got the key details of Maresca's move to City. What are they?
Yeah, the new Manchester City manager has signed a 3-year contract, taking him right up until the summer of 2029 to succeed Pep Guardiola, someone, of course, that Enzo Maresca knows really well, worked with as an assistant. So Enzo Maresca signed a 3-year deal and coming back here to City for the 3rd time, and he's a man who clearly has had his heart set on this move, on coming back to a club that he knows so well. In the last few minutes, he's actually put a statement out on his Instagram apologising to Chelsea for the way he left the club in the middle of last season. Really interesting to hear from Maresca here. This is what he said. He said, at the end of December 2025, I made the difficult decision to leave Chelsea. The decision was only mine, he says. My resignation from Chelsea opened a path for me to join Manchester City, which is a club I knew very well. I'm ecstatic that I've now joined Manchester City. I recognise that my departure from Chelsea in the middle of the season caused disruption for the club, and I apologise for that. It was neither my intention nor my wish. I was treated well by everyone at Chelsea. Together we achieved great success and memories that I will always treasure. I'm grateful to the club, the owners and the fans for giving me that opportunity. So Enzo Maresca there just lifting the lid a little bit on what was a fairly acrimonious departure at the time in the middle of the season. He's clearly saying he's apologising to the Chelsea side for that, but as you can understand, his heart has been set on this move to Manchester City once the possibility of that opportunity to replace Pep Guardiola became apparent. He obviously spoke publicly about those early conversations that he'd had with Manchester City, and of course he's clearly looking forward to getting down to work, because what he sees in coming back to City is a club that has all the tools to allow him to be successful at the very top of the Premier League.
Why do you think City have decided months ago that Maresca is the right man to replace Pep Guardiola?
I think that's quite a simple question, in the sense that you think about the legacy that Pep Guardiola's had here, 10 years, a very distinct playing style. The club, in essence, was designed top to bottom for Pep Guardiola before his arrival, and then allowing him to be so successful in those 10 years. So when the opportunity has arisen for them to bring in a man who is as close to Pep as you can probably imagine in the Premier League, someone that's worked very closely with him, that knows the club so intimately. I mean, he was Pep's assistant for that treble-winning season, simply put, the best season in Manchester City history in 2023. Maresca was right by Pep's side. Obviously, he's learned so much from working with Pep Guardiola, and clearly he's a manager who's tactically astute in his own right. He won the Club World Cup with Chelsea, he won the UEFA Conference League with Chelsea, won the Championship with Leicester City as well. So he's proved he can now do it as a manager of a senior team. The club have got great affection for him, you can imagine. They wanted someone to try and make this transition as simple as possible. And in that sense, they've very much got their man, a man who's already described this opportunity as a dream situation for him.
Ben, it has been quite a busy week for City, hasn't it? Not only Maresca being confirmed, but they've agreed a deal for Elliot Anderson. What's the latest news on that transfer?
Yeah, I mean, look, Elliot Anderson has been one of England's standout players already in the World Cup, so you can understand why Manchester City have been very keen to try and get this deal done before we get into the latter stages, certainly before we get post-tournament. Well, it feels as though they're getting very close to getting it sorted now, because we understand that yesterday Elliot Anderson had his medical after England's Panama game, after they'd got that crucial victory and then returned to their training base. Elliot Anderson had that medical and completed it, passed it with no issues. So it feels as though certainly in the next few days we'll get confirmation that deal is now going to be confirmed after they agreed that £160 million fee with Nottingham Forest to bring him to Manchester. The World Cup has obviously caused a logistical problem, but City like to get a marquee signing. I think the centre of midfield was always somewhere they really felt they had to strengthen this summer, especially when you consider that Bernardo Silva, who has been an incredible servant to the club, has left at the end of his contract. They needed another body. Elliot Anderson's proved his versatility both with Nottingham Forest and now with England this summer. He is regarded as an elite level midfielder, certainly in the centre of the park where City want to strengthen. So that deal getting very close. As I say, medical completed. We're just waiting for the formalities, but of course that's all got to be done around England's game in the last 32.
What about the rest of the summer? I just spoke to Gary Neville a little bit earlier this hour, and he suggests they probably do need another midfielder as well. Do you think Manchester City are going to be busy in the transfer market the next coming weeks and months?
Yeah, I think they will be busy. I think they've shown that. I mean, look, Hugo Viana, since he's come in as sporting director, has been forthright. He's been proactive, hasn't he, rather than reactive. We saw that in January, didn't we, when they went and bought Marc Guéhi and Antoine Semenyo. Now, these are two players for the long term. They're two players I'm sure that Enzo Maresca will be very excited about working with and about trying to formulate a team with. But you're right, and Gary's right, I think, in the sense that they would like some more recruits. At the start of the summer, we reported that they were interested in a right back, for example, to challenge Matheus Nunes. I think they recognise that Nunes has really flourished in that right back role, but I think they feel as though another full back would give them more options. Of course, they could still lose one of the central defenders. There's been some speculation about Josko Gvardiol. There's been some speculation about Ruben Diaz. Now, we expect Gvardiol obviously to stay now with that new contract being agreed. But Ruben Diaz is someone who has hinted that he might be open to a move. So that may lead them into the transfer market. Central midfield, definitely an area that I think they'd like to strengthen even further if they can. Rodri spoken while away with Spain very publicly to Spanish reporters about his future, suggesting perhaps that at the end of the summer he'll make a decision on his future as he comes into the final year of his Manchester City contract. Now look, City want him to stay. There's no suggestion that Rodri and Elliot Anderson couldn't form a fantastic partnership in the centre of any midfield, but just that uncertainty about Rodri's position